All right. Happy Friday, everybody. We are going to be getting started soon. We have our new DevRel of Americas has joined us. So this is his first time participating in one of these demo days. Corey Cooper. Hey, Sage, are you on the stage?
Hi, it's good. It was great to be here today.
So, Sage, where are you from?
Yeah, also I'm from Lagos, Nigeria.
Yo, Legos. Shout out to Legos, my favorite spot. All right, so let's go ahead. We're about to get started here. All right, so we've got a great show. I think we got Gem, our ecosystem director here, ecosystem growth director, I should say. Gem, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. All right, so now that we've got everybody here, let's go ahead and get this event started. So this is our demo day, and love doing these demo days because it really gives an opportunity for us to see, what people are building out there in the community. Gives us some, grassroots insight on really just, what's hot, what's going on, what you're building, and it's a really great opportunity as well because we have folks like Juan, who works with our Circle Ventures team as a lead strategist and as well as a venture associate. And we have Jem here, who is really heading our ecosystem growth. So I want to go ahead and start with these two, allow them to introduce themselves, talk a little bit about what they do, so you have some context. So Juan, we'll start with you with Circle Ventures. How are you doing today?
Hey guys, this is Juan. I work in our ventures team. We started a fund about 18 months ago where we invest to support the ecosystem and founders that are really aligned with Circle's own mission. And it's been super exciting to work with a number of projects and companies in the space over the last 12 months that are building core infrastructure to scale crypto or to scale capital markets on chain, but also consumer applications that drive more users. So excited to be here and see what folks are building.
Fantastic. Jem, how about yourself? I know, man, Jem, they used to call me the traveler, but I think you have beat me out this year. You have literally been nonstop all over the world, and I mean that literally. Please give a little intro of yourself and what in the world have you been up to?
Yeah, we go where the builders are and developers are. So yeah, we're constantly on the road. So I'm Jem, growth director at Circle. I focus on growing our builder ecosystem. So what we do is we identify and incentivize early stage project builders, developers, building on our application products and protocols. Then we build internal operational capabilities and external partnerships and programs to help create a full life cycle of incubation to innovation and funding programs. So an interested developer or builder or an early stage project could basically go from a hackathon participant to being funded by grant programs to building projects in Circle ecosystem. Or maybe they can get attention from Juan's team from Circle Ventures.
Fantastic. And I mentioned earlier we have our newest member to our developer relations and ecosystem team, Corey Cooper, who's going to be over the Americas. Corey, if you can, honestly, I think you're definitely been here longer than myself and Jem, so you're like a senior as far as the circular goes. Give us a little introduction and tell us about yourself and what you're going to be focusing on here.
Yeah. Corey Cooper, my background's in software development. I joined Circle a little over a year ago, and I was focused on. I was on the solution engineering team, focused on our NFT and gaming vertical, helping companies like Dapper Labs and Recur and OpenLoot integrate our APIs into their platform. And so now I've transitioned over to the developer relations team, and my goal is to connect with as many developers as possible and educate them on the toolkits that we're building to integrate USDC in the fabric of their business so that they can unlock, this amazing commerce opportunity on the internet that is growing pretty quickly with all the new innovations in the blockchain space.
Yeah, thank you, Corey, for that great introduction. So yeah, what I was going to say is let's get into demo day. With these demo day, what's always great is that we allow our participants to share their products. They can share their screen, shows what they're building. And it's incredible because we have such talent here on our Circle team to get feedback. And one thing I always say too is that we do record and keep these, and we share that internally. And so chances are some of our leadership are going to get a chance to see what you're building because, as we look to build out products and as we look to, focus on directions and even potentially future investments, we look here in the community in our discords and all over to really try to figure out where the needs are, who the real builders are, and to see how we can help. So, Eric, I see you here with Notify. Wanted to go ahead and give you the stage so you can tell us about what you're building and maybe get some feedback from our incredible guests.
Awesome. Sam, thank you so much for having us. All right. So we are Node Finance, and we build mobile Web3 solutions for enterprise. So just to kind of set the scene here, over the last couple of years, decentralized finance has proven itself. Even in current market conditions, we have yield protocols generating anywhere from 2 to 4% on stable coins generated by real market activity, such as lending and swapping. But in its current form, DeFi is too fragmented and difficult to use. If anyone's ever tried to onboard, say, their parents or a friend to use a DeFi protocol, you know that the onboarding experience is an absolute nightmare. They have to go download a wallet, then they have to go to a website, then they have to connect that wallet to a website. And then in order to get from where they're at to where they want to be, say if they're holding USDC and they want to get into a USDC, USDT liquidity pool, they're going to have to do multiple different transactions to do so. And these problems are compounded on mobile because most of these applications are built as web apps and are designed primarily for the desktop user in mind. However, we see an opportunity here. We believe that many businesses around the world are very well positioned to roll out local use cases powered by Web3 and to leverage the advantages of blockchain. But businesses need an end-to-end solution to do so. And currently in the market, individual protocols may have SDKs, but there isn't really like a one-stop shop for teams to go live with Web3 in their mobile app. And lastly, it's just too expensive for businesses to build out an in-house Web3 team, especially in, again, the current market conditions. So our solution for this is to make it incredibly easy for any business to embed Web3 functionality within their mobile app. So instead of going to the Aave website to earn interest, for example, you could just easily embed Aave yield directly within your mobile app as either a primary feature or just a peripheral feature alongside your primary use case. So Node Finance, we're a suite of tools, and we sort of like to describe it as a non-custodial neobank in a box. And we have 6 sub-products underneath our SDK. First is Wallet Kit. So this allows you to create a wallet, recover a wallet via mnemonic, or connect an external signer. We support multiple types of wallets, EOAs, smart contract wallets, and MPC. And then we also have peripheral tech built alongside this. So for example, if you want to back up the private key to the cloud or use biometrics to secure the mnemonic and do transaction signing. Next is Identity Kit. This solves the core problem of whenever you want to do transfers between addresses or between accounts, you need to know the account address or have it saved locally. And we don't really have a good discovery mechanism for finding peers. So we've essentially built a tool that emulates Zelle, if anyone's familiar with that, to where you can send payments to people based off their phone number or email address. Next is Payments Kit. This is for doing peer-to-peer payments and facilitating on-chain payment requests. And we emit push notifications across wallets to let users know whenever a payment request has been made. Next is DeFi Kit. So this makes it easy to embed things like swaps, liquidity pooling, lending, staking, and more directly within your application, again, without going to different websites and without having your users do multiple transactions. So it takes the idea of a swap router and kind of like the zapping mechanism on Zapper and combines it into one. So as a developer, it's super easy, but also for your end users, it's super easy. Next is Data Kit. So this is for pulling things like current state, historical, and real-time data. So for things like push notifications. For example, here you can see we're querying the historical portfolio value of this wallet priced in US dollars. Lastly is Compliance Kit. So this is a dashboard and set of tools for conducting compliance. So doing things like OFAC screening and looking at on-chain user analytics and correlating that with off-chain data points such as location, if you decide to opt in to tracking those metrics. Real quick, I'm going to run through some sample client apps. So first up is Impact Market. This was our first customer. So they're a universal basic income protocol, and they work with many NGOs around the world. They were a standalone DApp at first, but they noticed significant user fall off during the onboarding process because the users have to come to the DApp with a wallet. And keep in mind, these are not crypto users. These are people that they are onboarding to the ecosystem. So they saw an opportunity to vertically integrate, roll out their own wallet that embeds the functionality of their protocol within the wallet itself. So now they can onboard users who can claim UBI and then either cash that out with local merchants or send it peer-to-peer, all within one application. And by doing so, it's now giving them the platform to roll out other financial services such as microcredit and more. Next is our work with Gane. So Gane is a virtual mobile network operator in Mexico. They let users earn free airtime by watching ads, and they earn this airtime through a token system. So they're going to be bringing this token system on chain and then rolling out a remittance product alongside that embedded within the phone itself. We're working with a small lending company in Colombia to facilitate on-chain microcredit. So bringing the repayment history on-chain and allowing anyone to build a publicly accessible credit score. And lastly, we're excited to announce that we're working with a major DeFi protocol on Polygon to help them roll out their own DeFi super app. I also want to take the time to call out for the builders out there. So our main product is the SDK, but this year we're laser focused on making the developer onboarding experience 10 times better than what we currently offer. And to do this, we're building white label wallets. So just to kind of walk through what the functionality of this white label wallet will be. So this is going to be a repo that you can clone locally, and you'll have everything out of the box ready to go. Starts off with onboarding. So again, we can onboard users through the various means that we had mentioned earlier. So again, if you want to use MPC, if you want to use a mnemonic, if you want to let them create a new account, this is all things that we offer. And then we have phone number verification here as well, biometrics for securing the mnemonic locally and signing transactions. And then once you get in, as you can see, we're pulling an array of different data and have an array of different functionality. So obviously token balances, NFTs, sending payments, switching between networks, and a lot more. So if anyone is looking to either take their protocol natively mobile, or if you're looking to launch a wallet with a specific use case in mind, go to our website and reach out, or feel free to shoot me an email. And without further ado, let's move into, or actually, sorry, real quick. I also want to note that we have 2 video tutorials on our YouTube channel. So if you just search for Node Finance, you'll be able to see a video tutorial on how to leverage our identity kit for sending USDC to phone numbers, a tutorial on how to build your first Web3 mobile dApp, how to sign into mobile dApps using social media powered by Web3 Auth, and lastly, how to back up private keys to the cloud on Apple and Google Drive. So now, and lastly, a tutorial on swapping, pooling, and lending within your mobile app. So now, without further ado, let's get into live demo. So this will be a 2-part live demo. I will do the first part, and I'll pass it off to Dylan for the second part. The first part, we will be going through a sample client app that we've been working on. So this is again, like the DeFi super app, and this demonstrates a lot of the various functionality that we currently offer. I will note that this is in very early beta, so we may experience some hiccups, as always expected with live demos. But as you can see here on the home screen, we can show the historical portfolio value of this wallet priced in local fiat currency. We can toggle between time frames and see how the chart changes. If we scroll down here, you can see we can deposit and withdraw. This is connected to various cash in, cash out providers. You can see our token balances and then our transaction history below that. If we toggle to this other tab here, you can see that we actually support multiple accounts. So I can switch to my MetaMask external signer, and the portfolio value and chart will change, as well as another local wallet. So I'm going to go back to my main wallet here and continue the demo. So first, the second screen we have here is yield. So this is demonstrating our DeFi and data product. So as you can see, we support many different protocols, and this is just a few of them. We support a lot more than this. This is just for demonstrative purposes. So what I'll show here is depositing to an Aave lending market using USDC. So I will just select 10% there. So I'm depositing 10% of my USDC balance. And as you can see, we get a transaction confirmation. I do Face ID. And you may have noticed that we have batch approvals enabled. So it's going to or batch transactions enabled. So it's going to batch the approval transaction with the actual deposit transaction. So your user doesn't have to do it multiple times. Again, the idea of automating these steps and making it easier for end users. And as you can see, it went through there. The same thing applies for interacting with liquidity pools. This product is especially kind of in early beta. But as you can see, we can go from USDC into the wrapped ETH Wrapmatic pool on QuickSwap, and it's the same exact flow. So we're batching together the approval and the actual transaction itself into one. So as you can see, we ran into an error there. I'll go ahead and try that one more time just to see. Sometimes we do encounter random hiccups. Sometimes we run into issues on Polygon as well. But that's not going to work right now, but we can maybe circle back to that later. Next up is payments. I'm actually going to skip over this because Dylan will be going over a demo showing our identity service, and that is the main thing that we would show here on the SendFlow. So I'll go to swaps. So as you can see, we're pulling token prices and changes in token prices. And I'll just go ahead and show a swap real quick. So why don't we do 10% of our USDC balance to QuickSwap token. And again, we'll be batching together the approval and the swap itself. And we support, just these tokens out of the box, but you can also add your own custom token if you would like. And lastly is our dApp browser. And as you can see, the swap went through. Lastly is our dApp browser. So you can interact with anything that we don't natively support directly within the app itself using an in-app browser. So yeah, that's the main demo from me. Now I'll go ahead and stop sharing and pass it back to Dylan to walk us through our identity service and a website we've built that makes it super easy for you to integrate that within your wallet or dApp.
All right, so first of all, hey everybody, I'm Dylan at Node Finance. I'm a co-founder and CTO. What we're looking at here is a demo of our identity service. You can find this at socialconnect.nodefinance.org. As Eric pointed out, we kind of phrase this as the Zelle for crypto, mainly because you can look up an associated wallet address based off of phone number or email. This website is mainly tailored around looking up by phone number. And so I'll go through a quick flow of that. You can see my wallet is already connected at the bottom, and I'm connected on ETH. So I can go and look up a phone number. I've already selected the US. If you want to select a different country, that is possible. And then put in my phone number. And you can see it's pretty quick. Behind the scenes, we are using identity protocol on Celo, which uses some really cool zero knowledge magic to essentially make it only one-way mapping. What that means is you can look up an address by phone number, but you can't look up a phone number by address. And so in that way, it tries to keep the address identity a secret. So here we get some information on my identity attestation. So we can see what entity attested to my phone number being mapped to this address. How this works is kind of centralized entities can run federators, where they are the ones responsible for saying whether or not a phone number maps to a specific address. And then so from the implementation side, it's up to the developer or the end user to say which attesters they trust. So on this example website, we just have the attester set to the Node Finance attester, which is going to be the default if you're using our SDK, but we easily allow you to declare any other attesters that you might trust. We can also see when this most recent attestation was issued. That would have been February 22nd. So a little over a month ago. And we can also see, kind of more unique to my address, is that I have multiple attestations. And so we try to keep this fairly unopinionated and leave the exact behavior to the end developer and business implementing here, but we make sure to give the information needed to make that decision. So here you can see this phone number has had a multitude of attestations, mainly from testing, but as a side effect of that, if I was going to send a payment to my phone number, this might deter me, and it might make me want to fully check that this is the correct address. And then if you are looking to implement directly the site within an application, we do allow sending tokens through here. So I can go and send tokens to this phone number. We'll see, the site does check to see if the address has any activity on the given chain that's selected. So we can see I actually don't have any activity on Ethereum. So I'll switch really quickly to Polygon. We will approve that in Rainbow. And let me re-look up my phone number. Okay. And now we can see that I have sufficient activity on this network to send tokens. Just send some USDC. And I won't actually send these right now, but you just hit the send and it would go to wallet for approval. The other side of this is going to be claiming your phone number. So this is as easy as inputting your phone number here. And if your wallet is connected, it will already know your address. So it'll just ask you to confirm that. And then you go through and you'll see that I've already verified. So I can choose to overwrite that, and it'll allow me to go through the rest of the verification process where it'll issue a one-time password via SMS that I have to claim. I'm not going to go through with overwriting just because you've seen I already have a fair number of attestations. You can easily find this website at socialconnect.nodefinance.org. It links to our docs in the sidebar if you're curious how any of this was made, as well as our home website if you want to get an account made. So now I'm going to pass it back to Eric again to finish off the presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Dylan. And yeah, we did prepare, like I said, some slides in terms of going over some of the code, but I think we're right at time. So maybe it's best to move straight into Q&A. So thank you all. Hopefully we inspired you to build native mobile. And if you're interested, please reach out and we're happy to help. Thanks.
Thank you, Eric. And Dylan, that was great. Yeah, definitely thought it was an awesome presentation and excited and interested to see what Jem, Juan, and Corey thought. I'm going to start with Corey. Corey, do you have any questions?
Yeah. First of all, Dylan and Eric, great job on the presentation. I really like that you all are really focused on getting developers as close to the front end experience, because that's where the friction is in this industry of bringing the next billion users into it. So I appreciate that. Just wanted to know your go-to-market strategy. How many developers have you guys, engaged to test out the SDK, and what were some of the learnings so far?
Yeah, great questions. And glad you liked the presentation. So I'll start with go-to-market strategy, and then I'll talk about traction so far. So we're primarily targeting 5 different verticals, which I would bundle into just banking as a service in general. But 2 general markets, the crypto market and then the traditional finance market. For the crypto market, we're going after protocols and wallets, mostly protocols that either have a very specific use case that are kind of, outside of the typical Web3 use case. So, for example, Impact Market and their UBI protocol, or DeFi protocols that are like abstraction layers. Take, for example, like Yearn or someone like that. And then with regards to the traditional finance market, we're going after 3 primary verticals: microcredit, remittances, and customer loyalty. So with regards to traction in all 3 of these, so our first launch partner, Impact Market, they've onboarded, I believe, 30,000 users to their wallet, and they have about 15,000, it's either weekly or monthly active users on the wallet. And then like how we had said, we're working with a major DeFi protocol on Polygon, and then working with a handful of smaller companies in emerging markets. So currently actively working with 4 different companies, with one project live and one about to go live. And then in terms of kind of like next steps and go to market strategy, I'd say like learning so far has just been that it takes a lot of resources to get started. The barrier to entry on mobile is much higher than on web. So that's where the white label wallet comes in. And to kind of build on that, I didn't have time to touch on it, but we also plan on building out UI kits. So we recognize that a lot of people may actually already have a mobile app, or they may not want to start with our code base, but they may want to leverage existing features that are fairly redundant. So things like account history, account management, transaction signing, things like that. So I would say those 2 initiatives are really key to us, unlocking the next big wave of developers and just really reducing the friction in terms of going to market.
Thank you. This is great. Thanks.
Jem, any comments there?
Yeah, 2 quick questions. One is that you show different examples of different use case focused customers. I'm just curious, what are the primary chains that your customers prefer and why they prefer that?
Yeah, good question. So right now we're currently deployed on only 2 networks. So Polygon, and we started out on Celo. Celo, for those that don't know, it's a smaller network, but they're a very mobile focused blockchain. Both of them are EVM compatible. And I would say Celo also has that emerging market focus, which is then given our mobile focus and just the value out of crypto in general, there's been quite a bit of overlap there. And in terms of like kind of future customers, I'd say most teams we chat with, Polygon is top of mind for like the end consumer applications. We're working with an MPC provider to roll out a bespoke white label wallet for them. And my understanding is that most of their clients operate on Polygon. But with some of the enterprises we've been chatting with, Celo is pretty interesting also because of the fact it's a carbon negative blockchain and just given the very strong mission alignment, not just at the high level, but also within the community itself.
Okay, I think you answered my second question. I was going to ask like on the live demo on the wallet screen, I saw that you can add new wallets. I was going to ask if it's only like EVM compatible. I guess that's the case, right?
Yeah. So for right now, our focus is on EVM. That's where we see most of the innovation taking place. And I do want to call it because I mentioned earlier that we only support 2 networks right now, but by end of Q2, we will support all major EVMs.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey guys.
Juan.
Yeah, I was just jumping in. Great stuff, by the way. This is actually very impressive and easy to follow. So overall, kudos to you guys. So had 2 things that came up. One is you mentioned like a little bit more about background in terms of the journey building so far. How long have you guys been building this? Did this kind of initially start out as this, or how do you guys eventually kind of end up at this idea of like a neobank in a box? And then the second question is more about monetization. Like what are the different like channels for monetization that you guys have been designing for?
Yeah, great questions. So for the first one, Dylan and I started working on this. Actually, the germ of the idea came at the start of COVID. So we participated in a virtual hackathon, and our project was to address the problem. Like we're both, builders within the Celo ecosystem, and we thought it was kind of weird that they positioned themselves as a mobile-first blockchain, but there was no native mobile apps within the ecosystem. So we set out to essentially build a mobile wallet app that aggregated the different DeFi protocols natively within the wallet itself so that you didn't have to go to the different websites to interact with them. And 2 things were kind of apparent to us. One, it is incredibly difficult to build Web3 enabled apps that are native mobile just because of lack of developer tools. And the second thing we noticed after the hackathon was that a lot of other builders felt the same way. And that's exactly why there were no native mobile apps within the Celo ecosystem, just because there were no real developer tools for it, not just on Celo, but on any of the EVMs. So we actually started out as a direct-to-consumer company. We didn't really form until 2022. the start of 2022. And we started out as a direct-to-consumer company, but as the wallet wars kind of started to heat up, we had Revolut announcing a wallet, Robinhood, Coinbase rolled out their non-custodial wallet. We kind of decided two things. One, in a gold rush, do we want to mine the gold or would we rather sell the shovels? And we decided to go with the latter. And the second thing, which really pushed us towards that, was we have an emerging market focus. That's where our hearts are. But we also recognize that we're based here in the U.S. and our knowledge and insights are limited to that, and that it would probably be better if we focused on empowering local builders to build local solutions instead of us over here in Silicon Valley trying to build something for emerging markets. So that was also another key piece that pushed us more towards going the B2B route. With regards to monetization, we have three primary revenue models. One is to provide a high level. It's banking as a service, software as a service, and then consulting. So for banking as a service, this is a transaction fee model. So on our swap router, we let teams super easily add their own transaction fee. It's capped at, I believe, 3 or 5%. And we take a percentage of whatever fee you charge your end users. So if you charge them nothing, we take nothing. But if you charge 1%, then we take a small percentage of that. Second is through software as a service. So this is primarily for if you're a data heavy app and you're not doing, if you're not using our swap router. Obviously we have costs in terms of, indexing and data storage. So this is similar to any kind of cloud company where we're charging you based off of compute units essentially. And then lastly, which is consulting. So we do occasionally encounter a client that needs help building either a bespoke integration with our SDK or just help building out the initial version of the mobile app. And we charge consulting fees for that. We do imagine that white label will kind of start to reduce the amount of inbound for consulting, but it also opens up an additional revenue stream, which is licensing that white label wallet.
Gotcha. And quick question on the wallet. Is that something you guys built yourselves or under the hood? How do you offer MPC, EOA? How do you guys facilitate all that optionality?
Yeah. So we have a good amount of in-house tech. And Don, I'll let you jump in here at the end to touch on the stuff specifically that we do in-house. We do also aggregate from other providers. So it's funny, what some people view as competitors to us, we actually view as collaborators. So, we work with Covalent, we work with DeFi Llama, we work with Web3 Auth for MPC. So we've been asked questions before about as we see, Circle has their own wallet products, Coinbase rolled out their own. And we view this really as strengthening our underlying value add because we ultimately aggregate from the best in the business. And I'd also note that because another question that kind of pops up is, well, okay, you have some in-house stuff, but you aggregate from other providers. So what's the value add of this additional aggregation? And I'd say it's twofold. One, there's always going to be developers that want a one-stop shop. And I think this is especially true in emerging markets. And the second thing, which is a little bit more technical, is we act as a caching layer between all of these underlying providers. And so we can serve the data much faster than if you were to directly plug into them. Dylan, is there anything you would want to add in terms of in-house tech or advantage of the aggregation?
No, I think you covered it. I'd say to add on to that, what we do in-house in terms of wallet management is anything that happens on client side. So everything around encrypting local signers. So if your mnemonic, your private key is stored locally on device, our SDK is going to handle secure encryption and storage of that. And we also have kind of a smaller SDK to facilitate backing your credentials up to iCloud or Google Cloud.
Gotcha. Great stuff, guys. Yeah, back to you, Sam.
Awesome. Yeah, very excited about this. It was a great presentation. Really want to thank you. And definitely keep involved here in the Discord because I think there's going to be a lot of great follows from this. All right, Segon, I'm really curious about Passport. Got to see the website and take a look at it. And looking forward to see the demo. Take it from here. All right. So I guess as Sagon looks to work on it. Corey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So I guess while we hopefully see if we can get this second demo going. Just kind of curious while we have you here, kind of your new role as DevRel for the Americas. Where do you see some of the potential growth opportunities for developers to start focusing on?
Yeah, I definitely see that there's a lot of potential with developers creating, obviously, node finance is attributing to this, but a better wallet experience on mobile actually, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity with some of the things that Circle's working on with programmable wallets that will make it a lot easier for developers to spin up wallets at scale and really build scalable solutions that can custody uh, not only USCC but all types of digital
Hello?
assets on any chain.
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. I had to disconnect and come back. Can you hear me?
Let's go ahead. Let's get it started.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. It's a pleasure to present today. I was at the last demo day and it was pretty exciting. So quick one. What is Passport? At Passport, we are trying to build the mobile African sports, as we call it. And that stems from the fact that traveling across Africa currently and making payments is very hard, right? Especially when you're looking at African to African currencies. And but how did we get here? We started from participating in an hackathon last year that the Mara Foundation organized, which circled back, and my team won the competition. And then we had to build out the solution. So we had to spend some time in Kenya at Antler to build out this solution. And then we pivoted during that Antler visit process into building Passport. And the reason why we built Passport was because we had challenges accessing money when we got to Kenya. I personally, there's a forex scarcity in Nigeria when I was traveling, so I couldn't get dollars. And when I got to Kenya, I needed to make payments for things. I couldn't do that, right? So saving grace then was crypto. So using tools like Binance, we were able to make payments. And that led us to building a solution for that. One of the first questions we asked was, there are a lot of people doing this. Why you? And we tried to answer that question. We went to the market, did a lot of research, spoke to our friends. And what we realized was that a lot of the solutions that were existing were not working. And we saw that from our early users being tech um, tech professionals like us who were in Kenya and who needed to access their local currency back home in Nigeria. And we're able to process transactions for a few of those. We started fully this year. We're still building out our MVP. We're currently at the alpha stage. MVP is coming out on the first week of May. But so far we've been able to process about 15K USD. So what we've done so far is test the market, and currently we are doing the switching using USDC as a base layer, um, and they use that to switch currencies. We run a P2P model also, and that allows us to be able to be in Kenya and Nigeria at the same time and be able to switch currencies for our users. Our core users currently are people that are traveling. Usually we're focusing on tourists for now and helping tourists to easily access their money back home when they're in different countries in Africa. For this year, we're launching with Nigeria and Kenya. We have presence in both countries currently. And I would also like to walk you through a quick interface of what we are building currently. So this is the interface that we're working on. We're working hard at getting this out to the market the first week of May. And so this is what you see when you come to the app, right? You're a tourist, you just got into Kenya, and you need access to funds. And so what we do is you can select the currency, your base currency. You enter an amount. You get to see based on the rates to see what you get. You click send money. And for Kenya, right, we support mobile money, and that's what we're starting with. So that's M-Pesa. You can enter your M-Pesa number. We get the name. And for now, we're using WhatsApp to communicate with customers. While we keep on building out our infrastructure on the back end. Once you enter the details, you can click send. And then we provide an account number for you to send the local currency. And then we show you what you get in the other African currency. And then once you click you've sent it, we verify that. We already have like our USDC store. So we send that to our local agents in Kenya currently, and they make the payment to the party that you've supplied. You can currently see the state of the transaction. You can see the details also, and that's like the simple flow that they are doing with for the MVP. Um, so I think currently what the challenges has been adding up agents. We've been able to add a few. I think we have about 10 currently in Kenya and about 10 also in Nigeria. And so we are really excited about solving this problem. What we see in the market is that liquidity is a challenge among P2P operators. And I think Circle is best to solve this for the continent. We see a vision where there's like a currency like the euro across Africa. Circle has done that for the euro coin, for the USDC. And we are seeing a situation whereby there's just one currency that you can use to move freely across Africa. We see we're trying to do payments without a border. So that's all from me for now. We're looking forward to getting feedback, questions, partnerships, early stage investors. Please get in touch. Thank you so much. And please join our wait list.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I am really looking forward to getting some feedback. Let's start all the way around this time. Juan, what are your thoughts, questions?
No, overall makes sense so far, and it's great to kind of see this span out of the Mara ecosystem. I am curious. I basically have one of the same questions here. Like, I'm curious on monetization or thoughts on that so far.
Okay. Thank you so much. So that's a great question. So currently what we do is we add a percentage on the exchange spread. So if you're switching between Naira and the KS, we just had like a 2% spread on the exchange. And even at that, we're still lower than the competitors in the market. And that's because we're using crypto as opposed to using fiat rails. So that's one of our monetization strategies. And also, we've seen there's an advantage in arbitrage across currencies, and also for traders, for facilitating trade in the continent. We want to facilitate that and also make money off of that. So for a start, that's what we're looking at for monetization.
And what's your take on the regulatory landscape kind of welcoming solutions like this? I know that there's like, at least from our point of view, there seems to be like competing opinions, depending on like where in the continent you're building out of. But I'm curious specifically for like your jurisdiction, how do you view these solutions kind of getting adopted and welcomed by regulators?
So that's a great question. I think that was one of the challenges that was one of the questions we were asked early on, and that's why our approach to the market is a P2P model. I live in Nigeria, which banned crypto early on, and everyone has switched to the P2P model, which works, which avoids the issue with regulators because all we're doing is facilitating a peer-to-peer trade. We're starting out now. We're using providers also alongside the P2P layer, but our core is going to be this P2P layer, where we're connecting a user in Nigeria with a user in Kenya, and just facilitating that transaction. So that helps us to avoid the regulatory landscape, and because it's actually quite challenging. A lot of startups were shut down in Kenya last year, although they've all been cleared now. But we're going with the P2P model to try and avoid this, which is what Binance has done successfully across Africa. And although they are big, yes, but that's like being the way we're looking at that as a solution for us to navigate this regulatory landscape across Africa.
Sounds good. No, I think that's fair, and the same happens in multiple jurisdictions around the world. Like, I think it's just natural, tough questions to go through as we build stuff. But overall, really cool, and seems like it is quite synergistic with kind of the vision that we have for USDC and other stablecoins. So good, great stuff.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, Jem, what are your thoughts, questions, feedback?
Thanks, Sam. I have one quick question. What blockchain network are you using?
Sorry, I didn't get that. What was the question?
Like what chain are you using? Because I believe you are on ramping through M-Pesa or mobile money, and you are putting that value on a blockchain, or how does that like a conversion and transfer work?
Okay. So currently we're using Threshold, which is a wallet provider.
Okay.
Yes. And that's what we're trying to go with. So they are wallet provider that we use for storing funds. So it's not it's chain agnostic basically.
Okay,
I don't
nice.
think that answers your question.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Threshold. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Awesome. Corey, last but not least.
All right. Everybody asked all the good questions. But first of all, Sigourney, great job on the presentation. It's really good to see entrepreneurs trying to solve very, very mission critical problems, in the Africa region. So great job on that. I guess my only question I may have left is, can you, give us kind of a 6 month preview of what you hope to accomplish in the next 6 months with this project?
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for that question. So what we're trying to achieve in the next 6 months is to get to where we can launch our MVP. So like I said, my first week of me, we're launching in a closed alpha beta with existing customers, and then the next step is to launch that to the larger public. Um, and then get feedback on our product and keep on building. The other thing we're looking at also is building out the cards products for students specifically, because currently now there's a lot of issues with paying with cards on, especially with Nigerians, right? And so we're looking at a product that targets students for cards, and as well as helps students, say Nigerians in Kenya, to pay their school fees. So that we're starting with that very close circle of tourists and students, and trying to build out our MVP to solve their challenges.
Thanks.
Well, thank you again for the presentation. And yourself, Passport and Notify, really did enjoy these presentations today. Just a reminder, we are going to put these into a video and distribute these. I guess while I have a couple announcements, next month we're going to be rolling out our very own developer focused Twitter handle, which I'm very excited about because this is going to give us the opportunity to really highlight our builders, highlight content like this, and continue to build a community. So excited about that. Look for this to be there, to be coming out by April 12th is our date that we're pushing for right now. So be on the lookout for that. Definitely make sure you let us know in the Discord what your Twitter handle is. So that way, when we post these videos and clips of the videos, we can tag you. Also, Jem is going to be launching the grant program. And Jem, if you don't mind, I'd love to give you a couple minutes just to give a quick overview of what the grant program is, because that's a very exciting opportunity, I think, for folks like Notify and Passport, but as well as the greater community to take advantage of as they're starting to get their feet underneath them for these projects. So, Jem, if you want to give a quick overview of that, that'll be awesome.
Sure. I won't go into too much detail, but basically we're working on a new ecosystem support program, including a grant program where we incentivize building on Circle and support early stage projects, go-to-market initiatives, and overall marketing initiatives. We'll also provide operational support, business support, and will be a bridge between technical supports with the goal of growing the number of wallets using USDC and all the new projects using USDC. So we will have more information next month, but we are close to announce it.
Awesome. And then another announcement is next month we're going to be launching our Builder Series podcast. And so that's something that we've been talking about for a while, and we're going to be coming out next month with. So very excited with that. We're going to be on all different platforms. We're going to be really focused on telling the developer story, sharing that developer journey. So be on the lookout for that as well. And we got consensus in April. So if you want to meet up with the Circle team, a lot of us are going to be in Austin next month, starting from the 20th with the Solana Hacker House for Soul Ladies. So we're going to be there from the 20th all the way through consensus, which runs towards the end of April. And then actually right after that, we'll be heading out to Barcelona for the Avalanche Summit. So very busy, very, very busy time coming for those in the developer community. A lot of things going on. Gosh, I can't even talk about our educational content. We just signed on with a company that's going to help with bringing out all that content as well for developers to learn how to use our APIs. Just a lot of work that's going on right now, but we're very excited for that. So want to thank everybody for helping to set this up, to Notify, Passport, looking to continue to keep in close content. Once again, if you're on Twitter, let me know what your handle is. That way, when we get our channel going, we can make sure to tag everybody. So thank you and God bless. Take care, everybody.